Barbados now has access to IMF funding. A new approach to education in Barbados revealed. And plans are being developed to make it easier for small entrepreneurs to access financing.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. The International Monetary Fund has approved government's Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation, or BERT program. The Mia Amor Motley-led administration's proposal for a near $300 million staff level agreement with the IMF was approved around 11 o'clock this morning in Washington. Senior technical advisor with the IMF to Barbados government, Dr. Kevin Greenidge, says it means Barbados has immediate access to financing to support the BERT program. He joins us live now. Dr. Greenidge, good evening.
Good evening, Chetwin.
Wonderful to see you again. Shane.
Shane.
Yes. First of all, congrats to the team on getting the approval, and let's get straight to it. When is this money available?
Well, immediately after the approval today, the money is available within a few days. So we literally have access to it. The first drawdown about $50 million US dollars, and that will immediately go to help show our reserves.
Okay. So were there any doubts about this being approved?
No, not really. We didn't have any doubts because the program itself, the BERT program, was designed in such a way to restore Barbados' economic growth and put us on an upward path of recovery and transformation. So we knew that enough was in there, that any institution, IMF, IDB, World Bank, looking on, will find it a program that they can support because it shows a strength of commitment and consolidation and then growth that can take us where we need to go.
Yeah. I know government is already in phases 2 and 3 of the program, but now that the money has become available, it's going to intensify. So can you tell me some of what will happen with that intensification in debt restructuring, any kind of job dislocation? What will be happening now? What will Barbadians be seeing?
Well, you're right. The approval, the support of the program is a tick to the international world and the institutions that Barbados is doing what needs to be done and that we are on the right path where we need to go. We've already started BERT, as you mentioned, phase 1, halt the debt payments and restructuring debt that was unsustainable. Yeah. And we've just launched the debt exchange on 7th of September, and it closes on the 5th of October. And that is a exchange of instruments for new instruments that are consistent with the debt path we need to take. And over the next couple of weeks and months, and we've been working on this, you will see efforts to modernize the public sector. We started with the online survey where Barbadians had a say in saying how we should look at the public sector, what kind of services needed, essential, desirable, optional. And that formed the basis of the program to now modernize the public sector, look at post positions, how can we get efficiency and improve what we're doing, because in truth, the public sector, including SOEs and the entire public service, have become a bit too fat, too unsustainable to go where we need to go.
So the first drawdown is 15 billion?
50.
50 million.
Roughly, 49 exact.
Okay, 49 exact. So,
and then 7 consecutive drawdown after we have meet the targets which we have set for ourselves and be endorsed by the IMF.
Okay, that's what I want to ask about now, the targets. So what are the targets for this first drawdown? Because you said it's going to be used to shore up reserves. So what are some targets? Yeah.
Sorry, so correct. The first drawdown, there are no targets we met. That is strictly on approval. Okay. That is saying that, okay, this is a good program, we endorse this program, so here is the first drawdown.
So you can do whatever you want with that.
And so yes, but that is targeted now to shore up the reserves. So the beautiful, and then the other subsequent drawdowns will be on meeting targets. So we set ourselves this year in the program a primary surplus of 3.3%. So we have to gain another additional 1%. Once we meet that target, which is by the end of fiscal year, it will be reviewed, another drawdown. Okay. And then we will maintain a path that will give us 6% primary balance by 1920. Again, you get 2 or so drawdowns going forward.
So you must hit your targets in order to get future drawdown.
Yes, you will have to. So it's like you're on a program and you have a big brother saying, okay, here's how I'm going to help you monitor and go forward. But we have, indeed, the targets we set for ourselves are even much more tighter because we want to get out of this phase within 1.5 to 2 years where we're actually on the up, growing and recovering and transforming our economy.
Okay. The approval unlocks funding from elsewhere. You know, the IADB and also the CDB. So since you've been hitting the ground and running and got this approval in record time, is it fair to assume that you've already been in conversation with some of these businesses?
Very fair, because as you know, we've been working hard on many fronts. While we are designing our program, we've been engaging the IMF in thoughts how they can support it. We've all been engaging IDB and CDB. And indeed, we have a pledge close to $1 billion Barbados from those two institutions alone. We're just working through it. That will come as support for our program going forward. And we're engaging with other development partners, not just IDB and CDB. So we expect, and this is because the endorsement by the IMF plays this usually a catalytic role to get you know, others to come and say, well, if the IMF say this is a good program, then we can get in there.
Wow.
Plus, it brings on the private sector. Investors now, institutional investors and other people looking on, would then see Barbados as a serious place where we are doing what we need to do to put our house in order.
Dr. Greenidge, I wish we had more time to discuss this, but that's all the time we have. No, thank you for coming on again.
Pleasure's mine.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Okay, of course, that was Senior Technical Advisor to the IMF, the Barbados government, Dr. Kevin Greenidge. Our government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Organization of American States, which will focus on the island's cultural heritage. The MOU is for the third phase of the project entitled Expanding the Socio-Economic Potential of Cultural Heritage in the Caribbean. It's being funded by the United States government to the tune of $1.5 million. Minister of the Creative Economy, Culture and Sports, John King, says as a region we must preserve, protect and leverage our heritage resources to remain competitive.
This is a project that will engage departments and agencies across the public sector, as well as cultural NGOs and cultural civil society. The staff of these agencies will benefit greatly from the specialized training that will be provided by the OAS. I understand that the software being used, Arches, can also assist agencies such as the Barbados Water Authority and the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited in identifying underground mains, which is certainly another advantage.
OAS representative to Barbados, Francis McBarnett, says the project is designed to focus on the rich heritage resources of the Caribbean.
As Caribbean countries seek to develop new sectoral opportunities for social and economic development and strive to continue to diversify their economies, we believe in the OAS that this project will be able to shed light on some areas that can be exploited. We are convinced that the project will contribute to the wealth of country experiences in the OAS, and that it will produce useful models and implementation guides as outputs.
Government is moving full steam ahead with a new approach to education, which is expected to reap major benefits in the future. This was revealed as education and other officials and students from various schools gathered at the Church of the Nazarene for a service to mark the beginning of Education Month. Lorna Jones has more.
When it comes to education, you may have heard of STEM subjects before. These are science, technology, engineering, and math subjects. Now, the Ministry of Education is moving to the STEAM approach, which also incorporates the arts. Deputy Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson says the move will help prepare Barbados' students for the challenges of the 21st century.
Throughout this month, we will be spreading the benefits of STEAM, this framework that brings reality into the classroom. We do not want persons to be teaching how we were taught, because the students that we have today are not us. We therefore need to make sure that we develop this 21st century student by making sure that we have collaboration, teamwork, building the arts into the sciences, and together developing this STEAM that we need.
Ms. Adamson was speaking during a church service to mark the beginning of Education Month, which is being held under the theme, Building Excellence in Education Through STEAM. Information Minister Senator Lucille Moore says moving to STEAM will reinvigorate Barbados' educational system.
STEAM aims to promote the teaching of in-demand skills from an early age that mirror the multidisciplinary reality of life beyond school. It is no secret that this government has put great emphasis on reinvigorating education to facilitate the transformation of the Barbadian society.
In a rousing address, Reverend David Holder encouraged the students to go full steam ahead.
We have done well, especially in the area of education. What we are trying to do is not to let the standard fall, not to drop the ball, but rise up and go further. Find a higher level to go for. And young people, you have the part to play to help us become what we are and most of what we shall become in the future.
The activities for Education Month will include a primary school's mental math competition and lunchtime music concerts featuring primary and secondary school students. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
The Queen's College Secondary School has been undergoing a changing of the guard of sorts. Teachers with decades of experience have been giving way to their younger counterparts. In the face of these changes, Principal David Brown has pledged the school will continue to strive for excellence. Sharika Griffith reports.
The Queen's College, which now exists at Husband St. James, is a far cry from the institution once situated in Constitution Road. Not only has the current school more than doubled its student body, but the ratio of boys to girls at the former all-girls school has changed considerably. Principal Dr. David Brown says there's also been a gradual loss of staff, and over the next 10 years, the school is expected to lose more than 17 teaching and non-teaching staff members to retirement. In spite of this, Dr. Brown is determined to take the school to the next level.
It was an era when it was benchmarked against local schools. At Harrison College, I'm saying that we are benchmarking our school now against other schools in the region, and we're even going to benchmark them against international standards.
What are you hoping to achieve by doing that?
Well, I hope to achieve excellence in education, and I tie education seriously to nation building and such. So we got a nation building effort. We are not only putting children in school for certification, we are putting them in schools for training. We talk a lot about the CSME. Would our children be able to compete with others in the region, professional? They have to be thinking about that.
The school has also been placing greater emphasis on entrepreneurship as a career option.
A lot of these children that we are going to produce in the future, not only at Queen's College, but in other schools, have to go out there and create their own employment. I don't think the economy of the future can be able to provide jobs for people. People must be creative. Hence, you will see that part of our core values here is problem solving and critical thinking, productive citizenship, because we hope to produce students out of our school, out of Queen's College, that will go out there and be able to compete in the world, not only in Barbados, but in the region and in the wider world.
Dr. Brown also revealed the school has adopted the ideal Caribbean person concept. This is to help students prepare for the world of work. It comes in response to issues raised by employers about the readiness of students for the work environment. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Police patrols have been deployed in Crab Hill in response to yesterday's shooting, which have left the community shaken. I ventured to the north of the island to take a closer look. This is the exact spot that 40-year-old Dexter Lashley drew his last breath yesterday when he was shot and killed. The bloodstains remain fresh, but the members of the community are still tight-lipped. Residents of Crab Hill and Shroud Bay weren't keen on speaking on camera after the latest of a series of shootings, which they believe stem from a turf war. As I said yesterday morning, 40-year-old Dexter Lashley of Crab Hill No. 2 was shot and killed, and hours later a man and woman were wounded in the area after masked men reportedly opened fire. Police patrols assisted by heavily armed members of the Barbados Defense Force circled the area for hours today, and acting police PRO Sergeant Michael Blackman told us they have increased their presence in the area.
Police have stepped up patrols in the Crab Hill area and the surrounding districts after the recent spate of shootings in the area. Residents are advised that these patrols are in an effort to return their community to a state of normalcy and can feel free to go about their daily business as normal. They're also reminded that anyone who can provide any information that can assist us with the investigations, that they can call police emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS, or the nearest police station.
The patrol is expected to last for a few days. Barbados and the region are being encouraged to consider pursuing a free trade agreement with China. The recommendation was made by former Barbados ambassador to China, Dr. Charleston Brathwaite. He was delivering a public lecture entitled China, a Window of Opportunity for Barbados and the Caribbean at the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill.
To address the large and increasing trade imbalance between the Caribbean and China. For example, in 2013, China exported to the region. China's exports to the region were about $4.21 billion, while Caribbean exports to China was just $1.8 billion. It is clear that the region could benefit from a free trade agreement that allows for access of more Caribbean products into the vast Chinese market.
Dr. Brathwaite wants countries in the Caribbean that maintain diplomatic ties with China to pursue a regional policy with the Asian powerhouse. That policy, he notes, should address regional concerns.
The opportunities under the China CELAC Forum remain to be explored. In the meeting held, China CELAC meeting in Santiago, Chile, the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean expressed support for the Belt and Road Initiative, and it is reported that Trinidad and Tobago has signed a memorandum of understanding as a partner institution of the initiative. I believe, however, that there's room for concrete regional actions to take advantage of the $3 billion offered to the region.
The accolades are numerous, from parish priest to teacher, and now incoming Deputy High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. Reverend Charles Morris is no stranger to service. The outspoken Anglican cleric and teacher was among the new heads of overseas missions recently announced by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Dr. Jerome Walcott. He replaces Althea Wiggins, who was sworn in as an independent senator on Saturday. Now, family, friends, and well-wishers gathered for a Thanksgiving service at the St. Peter Parish Church in honor of Reverend Morris and former sexton Peter Bowen. President of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, Marianne Redmond, was among those congratulating the BSTU's first vice president. Ms. Redmond says despite his diplomatic post, Reverend Morris will fondly be remembered by his nickname, Pick a Noise.
Pick a Noise is a nickname that was given to him by a member of his community when he was a little boy, and one that we in the officer corps of the union take much delight in using. You all know Comrade Charles. There is many a noise that he has picked. Yes, he is known to be controversial, whether it is his politics or his religious beliefs. But in all this, he has done so fearlessly, true to himself, and with genuine conviction to those beliefs and his cause.
And the man of the moment says he came from humble beginnings to reach the current life in this stage in his life.
It was not an easy road. I grew up in Black Bass, and I'm always proud to say that. I grew up in Black Bass, and in those days growing up, you looked in front of you, there was poverty. You looked behind you, there was poverty. You looked to your left, there was poverty. You looked to your right, and there was poverty. But I can say tonight that those were the best days of my life.
We apologize for the poor quality of that audio. Reverend Morris extended thanks to all those who stood by him and believed in him throughout his career. He notes that before his diplomatic posting, his greatest achievement was serving on the BSTU. Come next Monday, Barbados will play host for the first time to the Caribbean Week of Agriculture. And Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Indar Weir says the CWA, now in its 15th year, comes at a time the government is moving to restore confidence in the local economy. Focus will be placed on investment in food as a fundamental link to stimulate agriculture and the emerging food industry during the agriculture event, which runs from Monday, October 8th until the 12th. Activities will be centered around the theme, Strengthening Agriculture for a Healthier Future in the Region. CWA 2018 was launched this morning at the ministry's Graham Hall Christchurch offices.
Barbados is a tourism destination, and for those 4 days of activities, what we will have is perhaps an overall 6, possibly 8 days of visitors across Barbados from the Caribbean region. We get an opportunity also to entertain our Caribbean brothers and sisters in agriculture, our ministers, and indeed our special dignitaries that will be coming to Barbados to share and for us to consult in terms of how we grow agriculture in the Caribbean region. There are a number of things that are significant for Caribbean people. One is food security.
Mr. Ware says the region must ensure the Caribbean single market and economy is meaningful for all, as there are a number of opportunities in agriculture in member states.
Under the Treaty of Chaperones, we're going to make sure that we allow for the free movement of our people in the Caribbean region, so that our brothers and sisters can come to Barbados and feel comfortable enough to know that if you have a skill set and that we can utilize it, then there should be no barriers. And so throughout the region, if we are able to work with each other along the same path, as we can do with Suriname, for example, where there's a wonderful, tremendous opportunity for Barbadians equally to go to Suriname and participate in agriculture. And that Guyana had made the same offer to us as a people in Barbados. And that we must as well reciprocate.
The University of the West Indies is listed among the world's top institutions in the latest Times Higher Education World University Rankings. It's the only Caribbean institution to make the list. This puts the UWI in the top 5% of the universities worldwide, with a ranking of 591 out of more than 25,000 recognized universities around the world. A total of 1,258 universities made it to the World University Rankings list. Now, this is not the first time UWI has been recognized as a top university this year, and Vice Chancellor Sir Hilary Beckles says he is proud of the accomplishment.